So the next one is from S. Hi, Lisa. Let's say there's a thought, for example, that nobody cares for me. This goes on, and at some point there is a recognition of that as an old story of the mind and assumption. But still after this, when there is awareness of it, it doesn't really change the inner atmosphere. The awareness itself doesn't seem to help the situation. Do I still just come back to this moment consistently? Or is there something I'm doing wrong? Would there be some ease if it's really seen as a story? I have this feeling I might have answered this last week, but because of my fish brain, I'm just going to answer it again. And more than likely, the answer will be different, which is very exciting. I mean, if it's exactly the same, that would be even more exciting. Because word for word would be a bit creepy. So the awareness of the stories is actually a therapeutic process that's happening, that's breaking attachment to the stories. And yeah, it's not meant to instantaneously have an effect. Like, I mean, that's a nice thing. Like, I just become aware of a feeling and then they like pop, and it's gone, which can happen. I remember one time, like, before I was like hysterical, and then suddenly there was awareness, broke away, and became aware of this hysterical, the upset energy, and then it silenced it. But these are one of these big pop experiences, you know, where I suddenly realized something. One moment. I really hope that mute happened work there. So anyway, my you know, every action that we do, we give it to God. An action is made, we become aware of a feeling, and whether it stays for the next 200 years or whether it goes instantaneously, it's not in our hands, it's to God. It's always to God. We don't know why that's got to be there. We don't know its purpose. We don't know what's happening. We do the simple practice of putting the attention in presence, becoming aware of what the mind's saying, doing, and seeing it's not true, doing emotional release if that's what's needed. And then at some point, the shift happens. And the reason that I say at some point is because nothing is continuous. So the illusion of you can't stay forever. So at some point, that's going to break. But the mind, the person is always greedy. It's always like, happen now, happen now. Why doesn't the feeling go away? I don't want to feel this. Whereas you got to give it to God. You know, that's part of the surrender. But knowing that everything I'm saying is a description of what can happen, it's not a prescription. Because who would I be prescribing to? And I'm sort of switching levels here at the same time. But that's what happens. So the story comes up. What is the story that comes up? Nobody cares for me. And there's immense identification of it. And then at some point, it's seen that that's happening. But the feeling doesn't go away. And the urge is reaching out for somebody to care for you doesn't go away. But there is a knowing that that's happening. And that knowing undoes something. But you don't look for results. It's just giving it to God. You know, you do that and give it to God. You know, putting the attention in the I am. And at some time, it will shift. For nobody, by nobody. I mean, to me, that's so beautiful. So beautiful.